stupid move.
Hello and welcome to the Tribute Liveries League Season 2. Yes, Season 2. Today we are in sunny France at the Sainte-Croix circuit, 4.39 miles. It is a road circuit, and of course we're using the Group 4 BMW with those beautiful Karting Legends liveries. So let's take a look at the grid. In pole, it is Chris Armstrong. He is a retro racer. Position number 2 in the Roger Goff livery, that is ex-karter Kevin Butler. And he is good mates with the man in third, Superkart champion and 250 historic champion Martin Marks. Can he cut it with the esports racers? Just behind him in the Zip Hermatite livery is Mauro from Italy, who lives in Switzerland. Then it's the very quick Kiris, the SFR champion in the Paul Elmore livery. Tucked in behind him and running the Peak Rebs livery just for this race is the current champion, Buzzin' Tim G. Buzzin's good mate, Dazman, the e-sporter. He was runner-up in the previous championship. He's in the Zip Hines livery. Just behind him, a new entry, a new livery. That is the Dave Buttigieg livery, driven by Ashvini the Scot from Gibraltar. Then we've got Alex Wilmot from Club 100. He's going to be running the Gartmore livery. And tucked in the back is the youngest competitor. That is Callan in the Zipkart US Tim Baker livery. So we're underway. You can see the entrance that were unavailable due to furlong or what have you. Oh, Chris Armstrong has got a terrible start there and he's getting swamped by everybody behind. Dazman's trying to find a way through, and at the moment it is Kevin Butler who has taken the lead then, all cleanly through the first corner.
I think probably that Chris had his foot on the brake rather than on the handbrake button to get away from the start there, and as you say, he just got swamped.
Indeed, Buzzin's made his way up to, ooh, that was cheeky, made his way up to third now, just in front of Kiris. Kiris gave him a little helping nudge along the way, but it is Kevin Butler out in front, then it's Mauro, then it's Buzzin. 6 laps this race, of course, no pit stop, and Kevin Butler is doing a sterling job staying ahead of this lot because he's very new to esports.
Yes, he appears to have picked it up very, very quickly, and I know he and Martin Marks have been practicing together. Maybe not this circuit quite so much, but certainly Kevin is doing a sterling job out in front there as we see Dazman going through. I think he's going to get held up by Callan there. Indeed, we'll go on board with Dazman. He's just taking his time. He's not trying to rush to get himself into a position that it's not to his favour, and I think he's probably going to get the run on Chris Armstrong down here unless Armstrong can pick up the toe from Callan.
Indeed, Shuey, down the back straight then it is Kevin Butler out in front. He is doing a brilliant job as Buzzin is lining up Kirith, who's got by him. Can he nip up the inside here? Yes, indeed he does, and will shut the door on Kirith through the series of corners that are coming up. Next, Ashvini is also up and on the back of Mauro, so he's made a really good start as well as they head into the left-hander where they'll just bottom out through that section there because of the ride height of the BMW. Into the final turn then, will Ash try and send it up the inside? No. So it's Kevin Butler out in front, then it's Buzzin in second in the Dave Murdoch Peak Rebs livery, but for the moment it's the Roger Goff livery that is out in front, although Buzzin is lining him up here. Will he try and send it up the inside? And he's got a really quick line through there. Kevin didn't see that one coming, but he did see Kiris coming and just closed the door on him as Callan and Dazman off in the background. Callan has recovered, Dazman recovered as well, but that would have slowed them down a little bit. You can see Chris Armstrong is still ahead of Dazman there. They head up the hill, then into the very fast, flat out right-hander, and then it's flat out into the left-hander, and then hard on the brakes for the right-hander, and the difficult camber for the bridge section as Kirith has been overtaken by Maro as well.
I'm not quite sure what happened to Kirith there, but he's moved back a couple of places, but it's nice to see so much overtaking going on, and we're on board with Kirith, he's just been overtaken by Alex Wilmot now. He's steaming through the field. That's a very good run for him as Merle just strikes a barrier there, and I think Kirith will get by, indeed he does.
Are you drinking my coffee, Stewie?
No.
Are you sure?
Aye.
Okay, down the back straight then. It is buzzing out in front. Kirith is trying to get the position back from Alex Wilmot ahead. He's picking up the slipstream, but of course Alex is picking up the slipstream of Kevin Butler just ahead of him as well. But will Kirith try and send one up the inside here? He does have a go, slightly locks the back wheel, and he's through, and he might even get through on Kevin Butler. No, Kevin's got really good drive out of that corner and just stays ahead, but Alex Wilmot is back ahead of Kirith as Dazman now is closing on this set of drivers. So Dazman looking to make a move also.
And can I just have a shout out to the Scottish Historic Car Group, especially Trevor Stedman.
This isn't Tiswads, you know. This isn't where you can say hello to everybody else that knows me.
I'll tell you what else it isn't as well. It's not 15 minutes of drivel before you get to action.
That's right, Shuey. More racing, less blah blah. We're looking at Ash Finney. He's currently in second place in the Dave Buttigieg livery. That's a copy of the Richard Stimpson restoration. As we take a look at Dazman up the hill, he is back in fifth position, I believe. Fifth position, yeah. Kirith just trying to go through on the inside, but Dazman is a marvel at making the most of the outside of that turn then. Dazman puts a nice gap between himself and Kirith, as well as we see the two black liveries going at it of Alex Wilmot and Kevin Butler. Oh, Dazman's gone wide and he's hit the barrier. Now that was really hard, and he's lost a lot of places there. That was going to be a momentary lapse of concentration, I'm sure, on his part. We look at Martin Marks, the supercar champion, currently at the back of the field. Is he going to be able to move up at all? Buzzing then out in front, heads onto the back straight in the Dave Murdoch Pete Rebs livery then. It's a long way back to anybody else. We just heard Ash Finney go by, but Buzzing seems to have a very healthy lead over him at the moment. Ash, oh, here we go. God's got a problem with these brakes. I've got that recurring ABS issue where I'm either losing the front or I'm losing the back. It's making it really difficult.
So, Buzzing, as I thought, is having an issue that Dazman had a couple of weeks ago and a couple of other drivers as well that I thought had been fixed, whereby the ABS just stops working either on the front or on the back. You can play with the brake bias, but it really doesn't seem to make any difference unless you make a pit stop. And as it's a 6-lap sprint race, I don't think we're going to see Buzzing risking that one.
So, problems for Buzzing up front, and he's got the very quick Ash Finney just behind him, don't forget. But we're taking a look back at Kevin Butler, who has still got Kirith behind him. He's doing a brilliant job keeping Kirith behind, because Kirith is no slouch, I can tell you, in that M4 as he just tries to go up the inside, but Kevin was carrying too much speed for him out of turn one as they head up the hill, and Kirith is not close enough to send it up the inside here either. Kirith just locking up a little bit there. Could it be that a couple of these drivers are having ABS issues? We shall have to wait and see.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite the same as the issue Buzzing's having in the very hard braking areas. All of a sudden it's either the front is locking up or the back is locking up, and of course you don't know what it's going to do until you've got your foot on that brake, and it totally upsets the balance of the car for you.
That's right, Stewie. Now, of course, in this championship, there's no stabilisation. They're only using ABS. There's no traction control either, which is why you'll see the BMW stepping out occasionally. They're the only aids that they're able to use in this race. No racing line, no stability, just ABS.
And I have to say that Kevin Butler has done a brilliant job to keep Kirith behind him for so long. He's very new to esports racing, but I think Kirith has got the advantage down here. He'll probably pick up the toes they pull into the right-hander, and indeed he does. Melrose trying to go up the inside of him as well, but Kevin's not having any of that. But Kirith's forcing him to take the narrow line, and I think that's going to lose him too much speed there. And Marlowe just comes across him there. Oh dear. I'm just putting it into side of Kevin, but there's no harm done as we go back to the front, and that is Buzzin heading down to the last turn. Let's see if he has any issues in the hard braking area there. It's not the hardest braking area. You can see we're just slightly out of balance there, but nothing to worry about. It's this right-hander here and the one at the top of the hill that's going to cause him problems.
Got to agree with you, Stewie. We've had a lot of comments from the karting legends fraternity about these liveries. They absolutely love them. In fact, I know Buzzin is getting more and more requests each day, especially to have these liveries alongside some of the old and new pictures of the karts that they are paying tribute to. And of course, another aspect of GT Sport, the camera angles and close-ups and replays are second to none in GT Sport. So, Dazman then, I think he's back in 7th place there because of that trip to the barrier he had earlier. No such problem for Buzzin, but he is having that recurring ABS, as you can see. Ash Finney is catching him now in the Richard Stimpson, Dave Buttigieg livery. That's visible. Oh, Alex Wilmot nearly biting the dust, the same as Dazman there, but he's being followed by Kirith, and that is the Paul Elmore livery, the Paul Elmore GPA, AP Racing, I believe, AK Racing. Paul, of course, is our VIP clerk of the course. Buzzin then in first, been confirmed he has got an ABS problem. Let's see whether it's going to cause him any problems down the straight. You can see in the side mirror there that Ash is getting closer and closer, and I think it's not going to be too long before we see Ash really piling the pressure on. Let's see how Buzzin performs in this very hard braking area, that into the right-hander. He seems to lose so much speed in the heavy braking areas.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a question of it locking up all the time, but just too much pressure or too much bias towards the front or the back, and that's what's upsetting it, and that's the reason, not only because Ash is quick, but it's one of the other reasons that Ash is catching him so very quickly.
Indeed, Stewie, then. So they head into the last lap then. Can Buzzin keep Ash Finney behind him for one more lap, or is it going to be one lap too many? Let's see. Herrick, we're on board with Ash Finney now. He's chasing Buzzin, of course. Buzzin, oh, a slight step out there. Now, I don't think that would have been the brakes mid-corner, but he's definitely slowed him down, so you never know. Ash is going to try and send it up the outside here in a Dazman manoeuvre, but no, he backs off from that one. Again, Buzzin slightly out of balance. I don't think it's going to be too long before Ash is going to make the move on him. I think he's just sitting there waiting for things to go wrong for Buzzin as they head into the flat-out right-hander, and then it's a slight left dab on the brakes for the left-hander, and then hard on the brakes for this right-hander here as Buzzin. Oh, no, he's trying to compensate for his brakes here. I don't think he used the brakes at all. He took off over the curb as we take a look back at Marrow being pursued by Kevin Butler. Kevin hanging on to 6th place, I believe, at the moment, and that is a brilliant drive for him. First time out in the M4 as he's pursued by Dazman, desperate to get some more points after his Bayer excursion. You can see Ash Finney is right on the back of Buzzin. Now he's going to be past him here for sure. Quick bit of draft. Out of the draft he goes, and he's going to be down the inside, and I don't think Buzzin is going to be able to respond with the brakes as they are.
Well, not even a former F1 driver like me would want to be dicing with Ashwini with brakes like that.
Yeah, put a sock in it, Shuey. Oh, Buzzin is going for it though. He's going to take the risk and try and go by, but you can see, look, he's broadside there. That car just is not handling whatsoever. Ashwini goes through, and I think that's all over, and curtains for Buzzin. He's going to have to settle for second, but he's certainly not easing off, but I think that's going to be all in vain as Ashwini has got one more corner to go then. Heads down flat out to the not quite so hard braking right-hander, and Buzzin might try and take this a bit quicker, but oh, he was totally broadside in the road then. I think the brakes must have locked. I think Alex Wilmot is going to pinch second place from him. Is he? Indeed he does. Alex Wilmot demotes Buzzin to third place after all that hard work. He's going to be bitterly disappointed with that. And there is Kirith in the Paul Elmore livery. He takes fourth. Great drive by him. Fifth place is going to be Mauro. Great drive. And Kevin Butler, a brilliant drive for him. First time out, he takes sixth. Well, that was a nice, clean race there. Join us for race 2. 10 laps, mandatory pit stop.